Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. My name is Wan Nur Atira binti Wan Ahmad Hazim with metric number 066542. Today I will discuss the topic of the requirement of marriage in the context of LLB 20903 family law. For a marriage to be valid, it must fulfill two requirements, which are the first is lex domicile, which can be interpreted as the capacity of the parties to contract a valid marriage, and the second one is lex loci celebrationis. The requirements have been clearly stated and explained under the Law Reform Marriage and Divorce Act 1976. The first requirement is age. Section 10 of the LRA states that the minimum age for both parties to engage in a marriage contract is 18 years old for men and 16 years old for women. There is also an exception if both parties fail to comply with Section 10, indicating that they are still minors. They must apply to the Chief Minister for a marriage license. Referring to Section 21, Clause 2, where the Chief Minister has the authority to grant the license for the solemnization of marriage to a woman under the age of 18, but she must have completed her 16 years. The second requirement is the parties must not be within a prohibited relationship. The prohibited degree of relationship includes consanguinity or affinity. Consanguinity is a marriage prohibition based on the relationship of being descended from the same family, whereas affinity is the most crucial factor in such a prohibition. It has been discussed in detail in clauses 1 to 5 of section 11, which lists all of the forbidden marriage relationships under the legislation. Moving on is the consent factor. Consent comes in two parts: consent of the parties themselves and consent from the parents or guardian. Without the consent of the parties, the marriage would be voidable. As for the other consent, it is discussed in section 12, clause 1. Before the marriage ceremony, every individual between the ages of 18 and 21 must obtain written consent from their parents or guardians. It has been considered accordingly in subsections A to D on who should provide consent. The next one is the marriage must be monogamous, as stated in section 5. In this scenario, if the criteria are not met, the marriage will be null and void. Section 7 also states that bigamy is a severe violation under Penal Code, section 494. Therefore, both parties shall have no prior subsisting marriage, as both parties must be single. Now, in order for marriage to be valid, the man and the woman must be biologically male and female. In the case of Corbett against Corbett, the marriage was declared invalid since Ashley was born male and should therefore be recognized as such in perpetuity, notwithstanding her gender reassignment. This can also be seen in the case of Hyde against Hyde and Woodmansey, where it is stated that marriage is a voluntary union of a man and a woman to the exclusion of all others. Now, we move on to the lex loci celebrationis, which is the law of the place where a contract, especially of marriage, is made. The first one is the solemnization of marriage. According to section 22, clause 1, every marriage under this act shall be solemnized when the registrar issues the certificates of marriage, or after the chief minister issues the license, or in a church, temple, or any other location recognized by custom. Marriage must be solemnized as it is crucial to have a record of the marriage to avoid further feud. Hence, for the couple who wish to marry abroad, according to section 26, their marriage may be solemnized at the Malaysian Embassy, High Commission or Consulate in any country that has not notified the government of Malaysia of its objection to solemnization only by the appointed registrar. The last one is the procedure and formalities, which are crystal clear defined in section 27, where every individual who is domiciled in Malaysia on contracting marriage must be registered in pursuance to the law under this act. As a necessary consequence of the marriage requirement, there are factors that can violate the validity of marriage that can be described in the requirements themselves. There are, if either parties have not reached minimum age of contracting a marriage under section 69, subsection B, the non-compliance will render the marriage to become void. Secondly, if the parties obtain no consent of parents or guardian, according to section 41(3), a person is said to commit an offence. Thirdly, if the couple are within prohibited relationship, section 69(c) will be applied where the non-compliance will render the marriage void. Next, if there is no consent of the parties who entered into the marriage contract, referring to section 37, the lack of consent can result to the voidability of the marriage. Overall, the non-compliance with Part 3 of the Law Reform Marriage and Divorce Act 1976 is an offence. Therefore, in accordance with section 41, clause 3, a person may be sentenced to 3 years imprisonment and fine of 5,000 ringgit. That's all from me. Thank you.